All right, are we ready? Oh,
Yo, Munir.
You are well branded.
Buddy, I tell you what, it's yet another day that I join you, having come in from shoveling.
Today I am joining you in shoveling.
Hey Rob, it's exciting to do some shoveling with you today.
Because
Yes.
today I did some preliminary shoveling because it's still dumping out there. And I wanted to get, the lay of like where's the outline of my driveway and the pathway, with the idea that maybe my kids could help me. But I'm a bad parent. They help with other things, but I haven't forced them outside to shovel. How about you, Rob?
So I can relate. I have kids who want to help actually. In this house currently. I said pause, hold, please. I'm just going to be out there with some music by myself, which I enjoy. I don't want to direct. I don't want to. It's okay. And I said we're going to do a thing. We're going to do a record. After that, we'll all go out there together. It's I don't I don't know if it's 12 inches right now, but at least 8 inches and still coming down an inch an hour at least. It's going to be a big one. Is
Yeah,
already is a big one.
I well, I'll ask you first. What did you do this week, Rob?
Thank you. I was getting mentally prepared to shovel. Yeah.
We're changing the
Got
name
some.
of the podcast to Rob Shovels.
Yeah, I mean maybe. So I was thinking that I don't know. I may have invented a new word instead of disheveled. It's disheveled. I'm also a dad. I don't know if you know that.
Hey, you'll be here all day.
Exactly. Inshallah. Inshallah.
Very nice.
God willing. Um, yeah, prepped. I booked some travel. I have some travel coming up, so
Okay.
handled that and I met with some great people. Had some really nice reconnect this week. We're now removing ourselves further and further away from the holiday and from CES. And so,
Okay,
from a
right.
work standpoint, getting a little bit into a groove. Um, and yeah, tried to stay mentally sane while involved and concerned and connected. So those are the things I did this week. How about you?
I was skiing this week. I know last episode you caught me right off the slopes, and I stayed.
Wow.
I stayed in Vermont, and I met up with a group of friends of mine from college, and there were 13 of us in total, so a very good group of friends of mine, and impressive that all these years later we're still getting together, and it was a nice, great, diverse group of men. They're fraternity brothers of mine, and holding up our relationships as we get older, and ensuring that we have community. I think that's something that we've talked about in the past, and good to exercise and get outside and push ourselves a little bit on the mountain, as well as learn not to push ourselves in certain instances. So there was a day where, a friend of mine and I said to the group, it's okay. You guys go jump off stuff. We're going to be over here because today we don't need to do that. And we had a wonderful time. The conditions were incredible, and with all this snow, I could have stayed, but I had a judgment call, Rob. And this is also maturity. Um, it was a decision. I was booked to be away, and I was booked to come home on Monday. And the snowstorm that we're having is Sunday through Monday. But where I live, they were not. They were saying that it was going to be hard to get home before Tuesday, basically. And so I had a choice. I could go Saturday, yesterday, and get home, or I could ride it out, have incredible conditions, enjoy myself a little bit, but maybe not show up for my loved ones, my work colleagues. So I was mature, I think, and I decided that it would be smarter to come home.
Wow. This is for another show, but I wrote down practical versus improbable.
Hmm,
And I don't think it's connected to necessarily showing up for loved ones, although
sure.
in some regards, if we choose a path of work or career that takes us away from our loved ones, imagine trying to be a Major League Baseball player.
Right.
The path to get to the big leagues is uncertain for most.
Hmm, right.
There's only a handful of top prospects who make a ton of money on the front end. Most are players who have to grind it out in the minor leagues with no certainty that they'll get a massive payday. And a lot of it is sacrifice and time away.
Yes.
Now, this is not that. I understand that. But it is a choice. It is a choice.
It
And to
is a
your point
choice.
about being in community with friends is super important, especially as we count our days. This is the 50th year of Rob. I think we've talked about that.
That's right.
So
Introspection. Are
seeing
you
friends is super
are you
important.
buying the sports car?
No sports car.
So midlife crisis is, we're sorted out on that one.
Yeah, from a material standpoint, I have everything I need. I'm very fortunate, very lucky,
Wow,
very
that's a statement.
blessed. Yeah, yeah. No. For me, how I spend my time, for sure, is about who I get to spend my time with, where I get to spend that time, and how I get to spend that time. And if you have a choice for all three of those things, to me, you are wealthy. And so I am rich with love and time, and I couldn't be any happier. And I certainly feel very fortunate for that.
I feel fortunate that you shared that with me. That is an elevated response and an elevated way to live. Sounds like you are thriving. And a lot of people say that, but I mean, to be able to embrace it is something else. Well done, you.
Thank you. And as we've talked about, it is a practice.
It
It is
is
a
always a
practice.
practice.
Yeah, yeah. So
And
when
being thankful and okay with the things that we do have. That's a
that's right,
practice.
that's right. And I think when we get to the point where we need reminders, which is usually we equate it to the bottom or a low. But when we get to that point where we need reminders, that's where that practice really comes in play. You start again. Okay, what are the things that I'm grateful for? What are the things that I'm thankful for? What's wrong that you'd like to change? And then through that identification, you can also focus on what's right and realize, like, oh, the things that are wrong actually aren't wrong. It's just that I'm not focusing enough on the things that are right. So, anyway.
I am fulfilled by your response. Thank you for sharing.
Do
I've
you know
got
what else I did this week? And now that I'm thinking about it, sorry to cut you off, but I spent a lot of my free time on another creative endeavor that was very similar to a creative endeavor I did the previous week. I tried to guess what your top 10 songs in your one man show would be.
boy, this is actually going to be fascinating. Your
It was,
interpretation of my inner life. I
you
I
know what?
can't I can't wait for this one.
So it's interesting that you said it that way because I can't not see your life through my lens.
Of course. No.
So I ended up doing three iterations, and And the one I'm actually going to present today, a little bit later in the show, the one I'm going to present today, I tweaked up until we pressed record.
All right.
And the reason I did that was because I have these other two as like, okay, if I went this direction, it would be this direction, it would be this. And the one that I'm going to present today is like, okay, of the ones you have to commit to, what's it going to be? Put up or shut up. And so
Yeah.
I do have a top 10 for us.
Well, I can't wait to review that. That's a great intro to our show. Rob, while we're introducing the show concept, would you tell me about you, Rob?
Thanks so much, Munir. I am Robert Haddad. I'm a former director and producer at Major League Baseball Productions, and currently working in marketing and technology sales, and specifically SaaS sales, software as a service. Munir, please tell the people.
I I'm Munir Haddad. I am the co-founder and CEO of Kiosk, an advertising agency that works with a variety of incredible clients. And I believe in sustainable capitalism, Rob,
And stakeholder capitalism.
and stakeholder capitalism. Sustainable is not a good word anymore. And I believe in sustain. Now I'm going to loop this. I believe in stakeholder capitalism, Rob.
Oh,
We'll
man.
see whether I keep it.
Right, right. I appreciate that.
I
Well,
appreciate you.
one of the things that we like to do here is we like to read each other things. And so
Yes.
I spent a lot of time this week preparing a few things to read. I should probably only select one, but in times like these, Munir, I like to do a lot of reading. I like to connect with people, but I do kind of default to our ancestors and our educators and our thinkers. And two people, I have their books here, two people I like to really lean on and rely on from their perspective, the great James Baldwin, and I talk about Ross Gay a lot. Ross Gay is a tremendous essayist, poet, writer, taught at Indiana University, went to Sarah Lawrence in Bronxville, spent some time there, played football at Temple, is from Philly, spent some time at Drew University in Madison, New Jersey. I feel a kinship to Ross Gay. I'd love to meet him one day. I'd love to be in conversation with him. He's only a year older than me, I think. And I'd like to read you something that he wrote as it pertains to this book in particular, which is called Inciting Joy. And the premise of what he wrote, and he would say he would get questioned all the time, which was something like, how could you write about joy in a time like this? And isn't it always a time like this, seemingly? And so here's what he said. Joy, the thinking goes, is that room at the top of a flight of stairs that, upon entering, washes you with clean air and glad music and comfy furniture and gentle warmth emanating from white pine floors, suffused with light pouring in from the enormous windows, with a sweet window seat where you can read a happy book. The joy room, the thinking goes, is snug with every good and nice and cozy thing. It is a kid's fantasy by which we grown-ups seem as seduced as plenty of kids to imagine any emotion discrete from any other, but it strikes me as a particularly dangerous fantasy, by which I also mean it is sad, so goddamn sad, that because we often think of joy as meaning without pain or without sorrow, which, to reiterate, our consumer culture has us believing is a state of being that we could buy. Not only is it sometimes considered unserious or frivolous to talk about joy, i.e., but there's so much pain in the world, this definition also suggests that someone might be able to live without, or maybe a more accurate phrase is free of heartbreak or sorrow, which I'm pretty sure you only get to do if you have no relationships, love nothing, are a sociopath, and maybe if you're enlightened. I don't know about you, but I check none of those boxes.
I'm going to let that sit for a moment. That's a great piece. And I think we've spoken about the importance of the depth of emotion in order to feel higher emotions. You need both the base and the counter. You can't experience pure joy or happiness without understanding what sorrow is. And I think that plays into some of the Buddhist discussions we've also had, and the continuum of emotion. So thank you for sharing that. That's an incredibly articulate way of discussing joy, and I'm now excited to think about that more. Thank you. I'm enlightened. I'm a little bit more enlightened. I'm not fully enlightened. I'm just a little bit more enlightened.
You know what I just realized listening to you? I'm staring at the yo, and the yo is one letter shy of joy.
It is. It is.
And to me, when I say yo Munir, that is an expression of joy.
That's so nice. And this week, somewhat related. I was in a store and I had my yo hat on, and somebody said yo, and then she was talking to her work colleague, going, "That's on his hat," because they were concerned that she was being not as
Formal or
formal as she should have been, and I got a tremendous sense of joy from her recognizing and exclaiming, "Yo!" Even
I
even
have,
more so that like I had to bite my tongue because I'm like, I made this, but I didn't. I felt like that would have ruined the whole moment. So
yeah, wow. I am still waiting for that moment myself. I wear this hat almost every day now. And I've worn it on one work call and it didn't feel right. But out in the public, I'm not getting the yo that I don't know if I'm craving it, but I'm just surprised that I haven't gotten a yo yet. And I'm glad that you have.
well, I have now, and I don't know what I was expecting, but now I have received a gift. It was a gift that somebody gave me by recognizing it, and those are the things that we look for, right? Those moments. And it's kind of when you're not expecting them that they come.
It's an invitation.
It was, and it is. And wearing it is an invitation to others to join in our joy.
And by saying that, I am foreshadowing something later this show.
Oh, I can't wait. You're so good at this. You must have been a producer or something.
Hey,
Award winning.
only one. That's all right.
Your aces in my book, Rob.
God bless you. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Well, we do talk a lot about music and music's ability, much like art, to inspire and to question and to storytell and to ignite ideas and conversation. And I feel really blessed to um, be so connected to music. The both of us are. Here I am about to deliver a top 10 that I think um, what I'm aiming for, to be honest, is getting at least one song and two artists, but I'll also take three artists and no songs.
Okay. All right.
But I didn't create the list trying to get as many right as possible, so to
Sure.
speak. I still needed structure to the playlist. Like my body would not allow me to just have 10 songs that were completely disconnected as a way to say these are the 10 that I think you're going to choose. I made some
Can you
decisions.
can you help us by
Hmm.
reminding us how we're framing the top 10 songs for a one man show for those that may have missed our last episode.
Sure. So for me, and I guess I applied the same rules for you, but because I was because I was picking these songs through my own lens, it maybe warped my own guidelines. My
Okay.
guidelines were not the 10 best songs that I know. My guidelines were 10 songs that really bring meaning to me, either through education, through joy, through personal connection, or a particular moment and story in my life. Now, of course, to some degree, that's the piece that's missing when I'm thinking about your top 10, especially post 1993. Really, when you think about it, I had like a, let's say, 1979 to 1993 window of the music that you liked and listened to. And then I had to make inferences on whether or not those songs would be the majority of your list. What about today? I had three songs from today that were on my list that no way you would have chosen if you were doing this list for me. So, it, that's where I was a little bit handicapped in selecting the songs, was that my time period in which I was listening to songs with you um, is limited, I guess.
Sure. Well, this is what
Right.
makes it so exciting for me is to understand what your inference is of what I could be up to. And I did select my own so that I can test your theory. And I was close enough to the rubric, if you will,
Right.
the scoring method, or the brief. We talk a
Right.
lot about marketing. So the brief, I was close enough to your brief that I feel like when I present my list back to you, we will be speaking off the same general structure. So it'll be even more interesting to see between the two of us what we have come up with for my list. And I, I'm so like
Well,
I'm excited. I can't wait to hear what you have thought about.
okay. So now I'm going to hedge. I have another list that is the songs that make me think of you.
Ah, well, that's a different brief
Okay, good, good. All right. As long as we're
because I could
aligned there.
make that list and it would be very different. I mean that's a different brief because
That that
those are
list is
those are by definition those are things that are actually internal to you
yes,
about me.
correct.
Whereas your interpretation of my list for myself is shockingly interesting to
Okay.
me.
Let's get into it. Let's do it. I'm pumped up. Let's
Okay,
go.
I am ready.
Do
Bring
I
it.
share my screen? What do I do? How do we know I'm not?
There is a share in the bottom of
I think I'm going
our
to be
recording
scrolling too
platform.
much. I think I'm going to be scrolling because
Okay.
I have stories associated with
Well,
each
talk
one.
to me. We can put
Number
things
one.
up in yeah.
Number one. We're going to start with a tremendous year in music,
Okay.
which also just happens to be your birth year,
Okay.
1971.
A lot of great music in 1971.
So this is a symbolic pick.
Okay.
Led Zeppelin, Going to California.
That's pretty funny.
I don't know that this would be a pick of yours, right? This
Do you
was a
want
pick
me
where,
to let you go through the
let me
list
go, let me go.
first?
So, but if you open with this,
Great song, by the way.
great song, great song, great song. Now, additionally, I thought, okay, Led Zeppelin, iconic band, Stairway to Heaven is typically like number one song of all
Sure.
time. Simon would play it on the guitar from time to time. But Going to California is also representative of the fact that you went to California. And so I started thinking, oh, you know what? If he chose a Led Zeppelin song, maybe he was in his car driving to California listening to this song. So I made some inferences. Maybe this is on the list. And what a great song to open with. So we're opening with Going to California. We're staying in 1971 with David Bowie's Changes. Now, again, because this list is really through my lens,
Yes.
the first time I heard this song was April 1988.
Okay.
It was your junior year,
Yep.
and you guys chose it in your theater performance,
Yes.
directed by Mr. Ebersol,
That's correct.
which was a controversial show
Yes.
because you had one of the student actors flipping off a train or a car or someone in the
Yes.
show,
Yes.
and that what do you call it? Action was
Yep.
certainly controversial in a school's environment.
Yeah.
The song Changes came on, and what is this? I thought it was just released. I had no idea this song was from 1971. What a brilliant, brilliant song. And that is a direct connection to you, seeing you on stage and hearing that song for the first time.
I believe, and I will have to validate this later, but I actually believe that that song was part of the play. Like it was written into the play to play Changes. I believe. I'm not 100% certain, but that play, Voices from the High School, we talked about it in another episode. Yeah, it was a powerful selection by Mr. Ebersol, and it connected really well with kids because it was real. It was, I mean, there was a scene that was a uh, a gay couple, which at the time in '88 wasn't a lot of that going on. That was also somewhat controversial. Um, and there was all of these, tropes, but at the same time portrayed in a way that was raw enough to give people a feeling like, oh my goodness, you actually hear me. You understand me. And Changes as a song, I think, is perfect for, a high school group. It's anthemic for people going through changes. And yeah. So thank you. So Changes, go ahead.
Amazing. That's great context. Number 3, Boomtown Rats, I Don't Like Mondays.
That's funny.
This was the first song that made me feel something.
Oh,
And and I mean that in that I didn't understand the power of music until I
yeah.
heard I Don't Like Mondays. Because one, it's poppy, but two, it's total dissonance in that the lyrics are about a crazy person who commits mass murder on school grounds.
Well, it's a social commentary. And one of my favorite lines is, in the silicon chip inside her head gets switched to overdrive or overload, and nobody's going to go to school today. But the silicon chip inside her mind gets switched to overload is just, that's a great line. And yeah, the song is powerful. It makes you think. To your point, makes you feel something. And we've talked a lot about the importance of music and art as social messaging and social construct, and a creation of protest, a creation of a desire to do better, a reflection of society, and a commentary on the way that we choose to live, or maybe suggestions for better ways to live. And I think now, no more important time than ever to reflect upon music, reflect upon art, and reflect upon the way that we can make conscious recommendations or critiques to try to improve ourselves. So
Bob
thank you for
Geldof,
Boomtown Rats.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Bob Geldof was known for his philanthropy and wanting to help. Something about the Irish. You can see that in Bono and U2 as well, in terms of their commentary and their participation in society.
Bob Geldof was one of the organizers of Live Aid, which was for Africa. And that was in 1985, big concert series, getting bands across the world together to do something positive on a social perspective. And again, art doing something amazing.
And now we are at a point in which I had reached a conundrum.
Uh-oh.
I originally had tied in, well, naturally, we'd go with Queen Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay.
Tremendous performance by Queen at Live Aid, connection to Bob Geldof. There was a nice story. That was 1985. The song Bohemian Rhapsody came out in 1975, and it led really nicely into song number 4.
Okay.
So I did not select Queen Bohemian Rhapsody
Oh,
here.
okay.
It was going to be 4, and then this song was 5, but I had to move it out. Pulled up to number 4. Also released in 1975. This album that it's on is from 1985, and it is the live version of Thunder Road
All
on Bruce Springsteen, 75 to 85.
right.
That's song number 4.
Yeah.
And that's enough of a story about
Yeah.
that. Well, number 5, no list for my brother would be complete without the Doors.
Ah.
And if the Doors aren't on your list, I'd be shocked.
Okay.
But maybe they're not. Maybe they're not.
All right.
In high school, for the folks who are watching, Jim Morrison had a huge impact on my brother. He wrote his college entry essay about Jim Morrison as the male figure in his life who had the most meaning or significance, or at least one of. And so
It was person. It was not a gendered.
it wasn't gendered. Okay, person. All right. I
Yes.
thought it was. I thought it was gendered actually.
Nope.
Okay,
Nope.
person. Good to know. Thank you. But what to choose from the Doors? What a catalog! And
Right.
originally I thought Peace Frog, but
Mm-hmm.
Peace Frog runs into the next song on the album,
All right.
which I could not separate out, and I lost 2 songs to that. So I said, you know what? We're going to go with People Are Strange. And the reason we're going to go with People Are Strange is because Echo and the Bunnymen covered it for the
They did.
Lost Boys soundtrack.
They
And
did.
you and I watched the Lost Boys together. What a
Mm-hmm.
movie that was. I made
It
it
was at the
through.
time. Yeah.
A little bit scared, and it was just us 2. Parents weren't home. You went on to watch it again that night
Ah.
after I went to bed. And I was fine going to bed, but once I heard the music and the songs again, I was like terrified and couldn't sleep. But People Are Strange was on that. And on a previous list, this went into Depeche Mode's People Are People. But I had to remove that song too. And instead, we get The Replacements.
Ah.
Because I know Munir loves The Replacements, a legendary band from Minneapolis. Shout out to Minneapolis and the people there holding it down. What to choose from The Replacements? I went with Unsatisfied. It
Ah.
was a toss up between Unsatisfied and Alex Chilton. My first awareness of The Replacements was actually Paul Westerberg. He had
Yes.
written 2 songs for the single soundtrack,
Yeah.
and That led to the discovery of the Replacements. Interestingly, so not through you, from my memory, but just
All right.
knowing your appreciation for the Replacements. That's
Yeah.
song number 6, Unsatisfied. Number 7 is a bit of a hedge. I got to this point and I was like, there are no women on this list, and this is a
Oh,
problem.
okay.
So I chose Left of Center by Suzanne Vega from the Pretty in Pink soundtrack.
Okay.
Now, do I think this song is on your list? Not at all. But I did want to talk about Suzanne Vega because
Okay.
Luca is an absolute gem of a song. She's a phenomenal artist that I think is wildly underrated and
Yeah.
underappreciated.
Yeah.
And the Pretty in Pink soundtrack is on par with the Boomerang soundtrack. And I called
Mm-hmm.
out the Boomerang soundtrack
Yes.
last week. I'm going to call out the Pretty in Pink soundtrack. Did you know the banger from the Pretty in Pink soundtrack is actually OMD's If You Leave, Orchestral
Great.
Maneuver in the Dark, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What happened was John Hughes, who's the writer and producer of the film, and Howie Deutsch, who, by the way, married Leah Thompson. Howie
Oh no.
Deutsch was
Mm-hmm.
was the director.
Right.
They needed OMD to write a new song because they changed the ending of the movie after they audience tested it. And
Wow.
they needed it to be 120 BPM to match the song that they were dancing to at the prom. And OMD was going out on tour 2 days later, and they wrote If You Leave in 24 hours.
Wow. I did not know that.
That's song number 7.
Okay.
Song
Which
number
one?
8.
Wait. Which one is 7 then?
Sorry.
Left.
If you leave.
Oh,
No,
if
no,
you
sorry.
leave is
No, left of center. Left of
left
center
of
is.
center.
Sorry,
Sorry.
left of center is. Because
That's
I needed to
I
get
got
Suzanne
confused
Vega.
for a minute.
Yeah, no. Suzanne Vega,
Okay.
Pretty in Pink soundtrack.
Got it. Yep.
Number 8.
Yes, sir.
Can I Kick It?
Ah.
Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah.
Do I think this is on your list? Low probability. This usurped the Beastie Boys, No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
Uh-huh.
The reason this usurped the Beastie Boys, 1, it's Tribe. 2,
Yeah.
you had the album, and you introduced me to Tribe through this album and through
Yeah.
Can I Kick It? They also sample Lou Reed's Walk on the Wild Side.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, that would be a great song to include in here. So I am including it, but through A Tribe Called Quest and their legendary first album.
All right.
Track
Good
9,
song.
Little
Good.
Wing by Jimi
Mhm.
Hendrix.
Yeah.
Your first reaction to my list was, what? No Little Wing by Jimi Hendrix? So you better believe that was going to make your top 10. And our brother Simon would play it all the time. God rest his soul. And so Little Wing, Jimi Hendrix. And of course, it's Little Wing, Jimi Hendrix. There's no question about its inclusion here. But that also meant I've got one song left,
Uh-huh.
which really means there's only one band to include,
Okay.
and that's Grateful Dead.
Ah.
And so then what do I choose from the catalog? And remembering back again, I'm the same place in your bedroom. You just come home from college with your boombox. You have one from the vault. You have two from the vault, but I chose Ripple. And I chose Ripple because you would include Ripple on mixtapes for me. And that was my introduction to the Grateful Dead. And so that is your top 10 via Rapidat.
I love all those songs. None of them are on my list.
Zero. How many
Zero.
artists? 0 artists too?
You have one artist.
One artist.
One artist.
Wow.
Because it was really hard. Like you said, you told me this is really hard. And I was trying to think about all the things that you talked about, like things that make a personal impact, things that tell a story, things that remind me of certain things. And I was also thinking about in the lens of where I am today. not back in high school, though there are
Yeah.
songs from high school that still have stayed with me for many, many years. Um, so do you want to know what do you want me to just tell you, or you want me
Give
to?
me the list. No. Now you can give me the list, and I'm gonna freak out if there's like this other list is anyway.
Song number one is "I've Got a Feeling" by the Beatles from their
Oh,
rooftop session where they played with Billy Preston. And I could not have a list of songs without the Beatles because the Beatles were foundational to my appreciation of modern music. In our house, our mother, huge Beatles fan, lived on Abbey Road in an apartment, physically ran into Paul McCartney at a
like a
W. H.
boutique.
Smith. Yeah, at a W. H.
Oh, it
Smith, a
was. Oh,
bookstore. Yeah. And like she saw a man that she had like idolized and was dumbfounded, didn't know what to say. but the Beatles, we had 45s of the Beatles growing up. And so I discovered I've Got a Feeling more recently, but I really love Billy Preston. And I love the fact that he's the only other person the Beatles ever credited on a song. He is the only non-Beatle credited on a Beatle, and that was actually for Get Back, I believe. But he was at that rooftop session, and I had to have the Beatles, both for McCartney and Lennon, and they're just incredible. Song number two, "Northern Attitude" by Noah Kahan. I have spent a lot of time in New England, despite my adhering to being a New Yorker or being English. And I sat up recently and realized I have spent discontinuously 10 years in New England. And I described Noah Kahan to somebody who said, way too soon for me to do this, but I adhere to this. I said, Noah Kahan is the Bruce Springsteen of New England. And I will continue to say it because I believe that. And
I
I think
yeah.
he captures the
Yeah.
zeitgeist of New England, and he captured the whole song is about having being apologetic, but not because I'm gonna be from New England, and it's because I'm raised on Little Light. So Northern Attitude. Song
Love it.
number three, "Hallelujah, Here She Comes" by U2. And the reason is that song was playing as my daughter was born. How perfect can that get? And
Amazing.
so I like
Wow.
U2. A lot of U2 songs are played out. That one still speaks to me, and there was meaning behind it. So I was like, how do I get U2 in? It was either going to be Pride or it was going to be something that reflected. I'm like, well, I got, moments that matter. I mean, this is a moment that matters. So, song number four, "Ain't Nobody" by Shaka Khan. Much like you suggested, I'm like, I have an affinity for lots of artists, and I just love that song. It is uplifting. It is powerful. It is a badass woman performer, and it had to be on there.
Love it. Love Shaka Khan.
Song number five is "You Got the Love" by The Source and Candy Stanton. Do you know The Source and Candy Stanton?
I don't.
Candy Stanton is a famous singer.
Okay.
And The Source is, I think, a DJ group, but collectively
Yeah.
they wrote it. And this song was covered by Florence and the Machine. That song, "You Got the Love," is a cover of this song by The Source and
I
Candy
love that.
Stanton. It's got
I
a
love
little
that.
bit of a religious overture to it, which I like. I
Yeah,
actually
sure.
have a soundtrack for my kids. We don't go to church, but I have a soundtrack that's gospel music and talking about God and talking about spirituality that we play on Sundays.
I love
And
that.
so You've Got the Love is in there. Song number 6, you may have predicted. I'm sure it's on one of your 10 soundtracks from my 10. And it is Forever Young by Alphaville.
It's song number 1 on version 2, Songs with a Story from Munir's Top 10.
It's still on the list. It was one of
Amazing.
my favorite songs growing up. It is both, it's poppy. For me, it has particular meaning about a point in time. And my kids have told me it's been rediscovered because it's in a movie.
I love that.
And, I think there are messages in there as well that still resonate with older me.
Sure.
And even the idea of the line, youth's like diamonds in the sun and diamonds are forever. And as you get older, youth can be forever. So Forever Young, number 6. Number 7 is Rock the Casbah by The
Sure.
Clash.
Yeah.
It was almost going to be Should I Stay or Should I Go? Because I love the interplay between the Spanish and the English. But I decided on Rock the Casbah because of the, Middle Eastern overtones to it, even though it's about bombing. But I love The Clash.
Sure
And
you do.
as I get
Screen printing.
older, I think I listen to The Clash more than some of those other bands that you've spoken about. And I really liked Joe Strummer as well. Joe Strummer has a song called Yellow, and I almost put that on. But so Rock the Casbah. This is the band that you got right. The band is the Replacements at number 8, but the song, I did think about Alex Chilton. That was absolutely one of my all-time faves. Still is one of my all-time faves. But I went and looked, and the song Can't Hardly Wait is on more of my playlists. So Can't Hardly Wait made the
great
list.
song. Yeah.
I like it. Oh, you got another artist correct.
Let's go.
Bruce Springsteen at number 9 with 10th Avenue Freeze Out.
Yes.
From the
song.
live album from Hammersmith Odeon in England, or maybe Hammersmith Ballroom in England in 1975. Raw, amazing, a performance that is electric. I listened to the whole album from the beginning to the end often. I think it's a fantastic expression of the raw energy that Bruce had at that moment as he was getting discovered. And it's a great song, and it's about him discovering himself and coming out into the world a little bit. I did think about Thunder Road as well. It's on the extended list.
He describes Thunder Road as an invitation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the connection to
the screen door
foreshadowing
slams
I provide.
and Mary. Yeah. I've read through some of the lyrics more than I normally would. Like, I didn't go with just the song.
Yeah.
I went with like, song plus lyrics. But regardless, 10th Avenue Freeze Out, also, it's like probably my number 1 listened to song year in, year out.
Wow. Which leads us to
number 10, which is An Alien in Minneapolis by Ondara. Ondara is a Somali Kenyan immigrant to the U.S., and he went to Minneapolis, came to the U.S. To pursue music. And An Alien in Minneapolis, for a variety of reasons, is very poignant. And the song is about being an alien, an immigrant in a world that you have idealized for so long and finding out that things are not quite as they may seem. And I am often it's a third culture, right? I'm a third culture person. I don't belong in the Middle East. I don't belong in England. I don't really belong in the US, though I've grown up here. But where do I live? Nothing. I mean, so I live in this space. I would consider myself an American for the most part because of my schooling and my allegiances, but I'm not always understood here nor appreciated. But if I went back to either of those other two places, they wouldn't know what to do with me either. So this song captures that emotion very well, and it's more current. And I think he's a phenomenal artist. He also has a song called Lebanon.
Lebanon, and that was on one of the lists.
Yeah, but Lebanon for him, while it's fantastic and it has the word Lebanon, it's a love song. And I think it's an incredible. In fact, I was playing that song one day while picking up one of the kids from practice, and I had a parent like go, "What is that song?" And so he's got a phenomenally unique voice and a great. He's undiscovered still, unfortunately, but
Well, I did that at your house, and that was why he was on the list.
yeah,
I actually could have, if I, it's one of those things like I had that.
yeah,
If I had 30 songs to
yeah. No,
get your top 10,
I,
I would have gotten six
I gotta give you
artists
rapid
and one
fire.
song.
I gotta give you some that dropped off. So like Bowie, as you suggested, was right after. He became number 11 because I had to choose. It's like your point, but
Sure.
I would have gone with Heroes, not
Okay.
Changes, just because Changes really was that moment in time when you're young.
Yeah.
And the idea of we can be heroes is something that I still
N-
think speaks to me.
No Doors or Grateful Dead is mind blowing to me.
So Doors was there with Break On Through. And then when I listened to Break On Through in the context, it didn't fit. And I also had Peace Frog. It's on the extended 150 or whatever song list. It's in there. Because I put them all into one. Here, I'll tell you how many I have so far. So far, only 78, which is actually I have not even scratched the surface yet. But in doing this for you, I have 78 songs, and both. So the Doors are in there, but They didn't make the list because it was tough. Another one was Best of You by the Foo Fighters because I wanted to get that 90s moment of grunge
Yeah.
was important to me.
Yeah.
I was transitioning into the world of work and out of school, and that area and that musical, like it was a powerful musical moment, and
It's funny it didn't break through for me either. I would have had Pearl Jam Jeremy probably.
yeah, yeah.
But
And then Pasilda, the Knee Deep Mix by Afro Medusa.
shout out to KO, DJ
Because of
KO, Keith
KO.
Ilverson.
And it
Yeah.
was such I still love that song, which I think was, I mean, it's from a lot earlier than I even
I don't
realized.
know. I thought it was 2001 or
Is
2000.
it? You
I
might
thought
know
so,
more than I
but
do. It is from 1999.
okay. Yeah.
But still, like that moment of spending time with KO while he would DJ in the Lower East Side in Alphabet City, um,
I guess we
was
lived
really
together too, you and I, for four
it.
years.
We did live together after college, by the way. Um,
Okay.
and and
Yikes.
and I still listen to stuff that I see KO listening to because he's got an incredible ear.
Oh my gosh.
And I love him to death. He's a great human.
So Jocelyn Brown is another tremendous song that somebody else's guy that he introduced me to. That is an absolute banger. Continue.
Right. Yeah. So and then I was gonna put I have to have. So I'll give you three more, and then we'll cut it. But there's a Train song, and Train is important because Laura and I were in San Francisco, and Train was a big group in San Francisco, and we've seen them a few times. They used to be a Led Zeppelin cover band, actually, and they're just fun poppy, And Drops of Jupiter was hugely important when I moved to California, and so Drops of Jupiter would have made the list, but it was out. And then Billy Joel, Something by Billy Joel had to be on the list for me. Something.
Yeah.
And when I think about artists, because he was a New Yorker with a great Long Island accent, especially in the early live stuff when you listen to him. And I got to see him at Madison Square Garden in the 80s when, he was at the height of his power. And he really meant a lot to me growing up, a lot of his songs. And, I think Summer Highland Falls would have been the one that
Oh,
I
I've
put
been
on the
listening to that
list.
song a ton this year. A ton.
Yeah. It's a great song. My kids are listening to Vienna, which was
Yeah, The Stranger is an insane album.
yeah. Yeah, so Billy Joel would have made it and still might, because like you said, this could be reordered. And then the last one was going to be something by Everclear.
Oh,
And the reason for that is that Laura and I had at a concert series that I was helping to promote. Um, Laura and I hung out with the drummer of Everclear after the show. And that was kind of the moment where we hit it off, if you will. And so I thought it would be a fun head nod. They have a song that's kind of funny about growing up in the 70s and 80s called AM Radio, and it's to a beat, Mr. Big Stuff. And so that one's kind of fun, and I thought that one would be fun to have, but I'm like, it's so out of left field. And
yeah,
I kind of was forcing it as opposed to it being organic. Like, I don't listen to it
right.
all the time, but when I hear it, it's kind of fun. But so that one kind of got pushed off the list. So anyway, that's my top 15 for you, of which you got two artists.
Hey, pretty good. I was hoping
Maybe
to get
three if we
three,
go to the
but
extended remix.
yeah. So, notable omissions to me were Grateful Dead. I wasn't sure where Jerry Jeff Walker was going to fit in
I
this, or
almost put
Wilco.
LA Freeway from Jerry Jeff Walker, um, to do a head nod to LA as well.
Yeah,
I spent some time in LA, and I loved living down there. Also, I almost did Los Angelinos from Billy Joel just to get them both in, but that again felt like forced.
then
So
it
Jerry
becomes a
Jeff
thematic.
Walker had,
Yeah,
I know, and The Dead, I love The Dead, but picking one song, maybe Sugar Magnolia. I like a lot of them, but in the context of this particular thing, it wasn't
there you
feeling
go.
organic.
Right, right. Well, I love you.
I
What a
love you
great
too.
share. I love it. That I could probably continue on for hours with this conversation, but
We'll do it again.
have a great week.
You too. I'll talk to you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.